G'day, welcome to this week's Frybat. Back to a little bit more normal programming this week after being rudely interrupted with a really cool hoist in my shed. But this week we've got a dog under my arm, and we've got a beer and a tool. All right. This week's beer is. Do you want beer? You like beer, don't you? Yes. It's dog abuse, but anyway. This week we have a very cool little stubby of beer called Stubby. For my overseas friends, a stubby is exactly that. In Australia, that's what we call a small bottle of beer, is a stubby, because it's stubby in size. But what? Do you want beer? Yes, I want beer. Okay. What can we find out about the stubby? Apart from being Australian made, it is a Kolsch style beer, which is German, and it is easy drinking with a light to medium in body, a light straw colour. German style golden ale shows aromas of lemon lime with a light malty palate, finishing crisp and clean with hints of citrus and spice. Oh, gosh, you'd think I'd already had one beer already. Anyway, happy Friday. Ah, yes, I have had a beer before like this, and it was a German beer. What was it? HB? But this is a really nice beer. Very traditional German beer, quite light, not a heavy flavoured beer. Very easy on the palate. Aromas of lemon and lime. Yeah, slightly lemony lime there. This has won several awards too. It's won a silver at the Australian International Beer Awards in 2022. It's won a bronze at the Royal Queensland Beer Awards in 2022, and Best Design for Label Surface Graphic at the Australian International Beer Awards 2021. Very cool beer. It is 4.4% alcohol in a 330ml stubby, which makes it 1.1 standard drinks. So that makes it nice and easy to keep track of your drinks. Yes, hello. Really? You want to be part of Frybat, do you? Look, beer. Beer. Yes, all right. So, stop being distracted by the dog and talk more about the beer. It is one of those little bottles, so it's only 330 mils. Our normal stubbies are a little bit bigger. They're 375, the same as a can. But it is a very cool design, and I do really like the label. It's also very cool design. Really? Are you missing out? Do you feel like you should be the star? You are the star. Yes, very, very nicely made. Australian made. Where is it made? In Sydney, Surrey Hills. Made by Pinnacle Drinks. Homegrown hops and malt. That's a really nice, crisp, refreshing beer. I suppose we should give it a review. On my Spanner scale, what do I think of the stubby beer? It's kind of funny, really. That's a solid 4.5 out of 5 for me. It's a really nice, easy drinking beer. It's a very cool design of bottle and label. Okay, 4.5 out of 5. This week's tool is a bit of a monster. Weighs 6.5 kilos and quite difficult to get all on camera here. Trying very hard not to damage my father's table. In keeping with my fencing theme, before I was interrupted with the hoist installation, this is a star picket remover. We call them star pickets in Australia. I think in America you call them Y or T-post. Yeah, Y or T-post lifters. Star pickets are widely used for fencing, especially for dog fencing. Dog fencing, yes, fencing to keep dogs in. And so recently, as you're well aware, my son and I did about 100 metres of fencing on one of the side boundaries of my property because the old fence was falling down. It had a lot of old star pickets that were quite rusty and had been in the ground for a long time. Now, I'm not sure if you've ever tried to pull a star picket or a T picket or a Y picket out of the ground that's been in there for a long time, especially in rocky ground. They will do your back in really quickly. So having the ability to use something with leverage is a really good thing. So the way this works, you've got a nice long handle and you've got two leverage points here and here. This part goes around your T-picket or star picket, and this hardened steel edge bites into the edge of that picket. So you'll be like this with the star picket here, and then as you pull up, you can see that that automatically tilts that and actually digs into the star picket with that hardened steel edge, and then you simply pull up and you get 10 centimeters of lift with each pull, and then it just resets back down to the bottom, slides down the star picket, resets onto there and lifts back up again. It is a very basic, made in China probably, but on Amazon, and again I'll put a link down in the description below. Not a particularly dear tool. You could make one yourself reasonably easily. The handle does remove. It's got one of those little push button things up here. They say it is made with it's made with zinc impregnated steel with powder coated for anti-rust. Robust design with great leverage for ease, effortless work. It did need some assembly. You did need to put this bolt in and this bolt in and put the handle together, but pretty much everyone is able to do that. Make sure you get this part in the right orientation. It can go upside down and then it won't work very well. Probably my only negative about it is the base on it is very, very small. So if you're working on soft ground or in sand, the base will actually dig into the ground. So sometimes you may need to put a block of wood or even just weld on a larger piece or a piece of plate steel underneath to spread the load. That's a very minor concern. We didn't have any problems with it at all. It works really well. So what's it worth on Amazon? At the moment, it is $44.99 Australian with delivery, which is pretty good for some welded up bits of steel. Like I said, you could make it yourself except for this cast part at the end. That would be a little bit more difficult. But you know, for $45 that's pretty good value. And they, like I said, I've hurt my back before trying to get star pickets out, and you can whack them with a sledgy and try and loosen them up that way, but you end up stuffing up the star picket as well. And if you're trying to remove the star pickets to reuse them elsewhere, well, that's kind of pointless. So having a lifter is a really good idea. Oh, hello, you're back again. What do you think of the star picket lifter? Does it meet with your approval? Okay, cool. Maverick says good. All right, let's get down to reviews. Firstly, for value for money, for $45, yes, you could build it, but it would take you a bit of time, and there's probably $15, $20 worth of steel, unless you've got scrap sitting around. And then you've also got the difficulty of fabricating this cast end. You probably could build it out of steel, but you know, it's all there and it's $45. Yes, mate, yes, all right, soon. So for $45, it's a 5 out of 5 for value for me. For functionality, like I said, the only thing that lets it down slightly is the size of the base foot. That could be slightly wider and slightly broader to stop it from digging into the ground. But that's really a minor inconvenience. For 90% of the times that you're going to use it, it's not going to be a problem. And for 10%, chuck a nice big block of wood underneath it and all's good. So really for functionality, it does everything well. I'm going to give it a 4.5 beers out of 5. Rightio, well that's it for this week's Frybat. Nice short one. Hope things are good where you are, and the weather is, I was going to say slowly improving here, but the last couple of days have been really wet and rainy. But the temperature's definitely starting to come up now. So anyway, that's it for this week. Hope to see you next week. Have a happy weekend. Cheers. It's won a bronze at the Royal Brisbane. What are you doing? Come here. Sit. Label. So what are you doing? So I think my dog wants to be more than part of this video. Yes. Okay. I love you too. Really? You're... Mate, stop! Stop it!